So it was my college graduation party, right? The pinnacle of the academic career. All my family, all my friends, all my parents' friends, all my friends' parents all gather. And obviously everybody kind of knew the path that I was on. You know, they knew I graduated high school, kind of top of the class, did the student body president thing. They knew I went to a good university, and everybody was here to celebrate. And everybody on the planet surrounds you and says, "So, you're done with school. What are you gonna do now?" And I have to answer that question time and time again and say, I'm gonna build a home-based business. So most people that follow me online or know much about me or my accomplishments or follow the ViSalus story, they automatically assume that I came from some business background or business pedigree, that my parents were wildly successful entrepreneurs or marketers. And the reality of the situation probably cannot be any further away from that description. You see, I grew up in really an average middle-class upbringing. In the box does not even start to classify the environment that I grew up in. You see, I grew up with my parents, great, amazing people, still close with them today. My mom, an educator, a teacher, counselor, and then principal, and my dad, a cop. So a principal and a cop as parents. And no, that's not meant to be a joke, so don't laugh at my pain. Still today, Ryan, my partner, our CEO, he always makes fun of me. He goes, "Blake, when you were a bad kid, did your mom give you F's and your dad give you tickets?" Academics was very much pushed from early ages as an important part of the household. Matter of fact, I could remember to this day stressing out about grades in like 5th grade, right? Because if I didn't get good grades in 5th grade and 6th grade, I wouldn't get into the honor classes in middle school, which means I wouldn't get into advanced placement classes in high school, which means I wasn't going to graduate with an accelerated GPA, which means I wasn't going to get into the college I was supposed to go to. So law school was pretty much out of the question. My life was ruined if I didn't pass social studies after recess. This box right here, I can't say I've looked in for a long time. It's kind of like the nostalgic academic archive. But it's interesting because I can still go back and actually I can still go back and there's a similar plaque like this still hanging in my elementary school as the outstanding 6th grader of my elementary school. I remember reviewing this quite a few years back, and reading through my elementary school newsletters, and sure enough, I found so many of these pink pieces of paper where under the perfect attendance for the year, my name, perfect attendance, elementary school. Why? Oh geez, I can still go back to my high school, and there's a similar picture hanging up in my high school as the student body president of my high school. Yeah, your likes that photo. You can look that one there, buddy. I graduated high school with a whole lot of different. Look at all these stamps and gold seals and approvals and ribbons and sashes and tassels. I ended up graduating high school with, I think it was like a 4.2 or something GPA. Ended up going to college down in, I think it's in here, in San Diego, UCSD, which at the time was a top 6 university. I still think it's one of the best academically. Political science, emphasis in public law, minor in psychology, and actually did that in a total of 3 years. So cum laude, right? Latin honors in, and a whole bunch more of cords and ropes and tassels and everything that they give you for all that type of achievement. And I remember in college, literally, resume building, following everything to a T. I remember the first time someone stopped me and asked me why I was doing all of that. It was a turning point in my life when someone stopped and asked me why. Because the only thought that I could give is at that time I thought that was what I was supposed to do. It definitely wasn't what I wanted to be doing at that time. In order to become successful, it was about how smart you were and what grades you got, right? That was what I was taught growing up. And you had to go through all of those different stages in order to really become successful. And that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And I think a lot of people are still to the day running around doing motions and doing things because they think that's what they're supposed to do. It's because of our upbringings, and mine was definitely the case, that they kind of get us stuck in routines. And every once in a while you have to stop and get a wake-up call and ask yourself, why am I doing this? And I developed kind of this core philosophy that when you stop doing what you think you're supposed to do and you start doing what you were really meant to do, that's when the script ends, and that's when life really begins. I was just fortunate that at 19 years old, when I was going to school at UCSD, and I thought I was law school bound, right? Wanted to be an attorney because my family was a doctor or an attorney, and I don't like blood. And then all of a sudden at 19, got introduced to the concept of entrepreneurship. Met a group of successful entrepreneurs, saw not only that they had a different lifestyle and they did different things, but they thought tremendously differently than anybody I'd surround myself growing up. And it really stopped me in my tracks and said, wait a minute, am I doing this just to do it? Am I doing this because it's what I'm supposed to do? Or am I doing this because it's what I want to do or what I'm meant to do? And that wake-up call introduced me to the world of business, the industry of direct sales. The old story goes, you become like those who you surround yourself with. So I could only associate with that environment for so long before I learned a thing or two, right? Started to rub off. I ended up becoming a top producer in the company that I got associated with at a very young age, which led me to, when I graduated in 3 years, become full-time as an entrepreneur, living an outrageous lifestyle at a young age. 5 years into that, which may seem like not a long time in most people's perspective, but when you're about 20, it's about a quarter of your life. We got the phone call that the company I was a part of was going out of business. And myself and my partner Nick, who's obviously still a partner today, going on almost 14 years, we said, wow, we can't let this thing shut down. We can't let down all the people that were following us. And it was kind of from those ashes, so to speak, and those broken promises that we got stuck holding, led inevitably to a lot of doors opening, new relationships, introduction to Ryan and doctors and different people that kind of manifested itself in the idea that is ViSalus. If I go back and look at the decisions I had to make, growing up, overcoming what I thought I was supposed to do, overcoming at the time what a lot of my environment thought I should be doing, and taking kind of a different path, and then having that path become successful and then crumble, and then sticking with that path and saying, what, this is the right direction, and then really going through those holes to create ViSalus. We wouldn't be where we are today. I wouldn't be where I am today, and a lot of people throughout the ViSalus community wouldn't be where they are today.